What's up guys, I'm Phoenix Master 1 and welcome back for some more Fire Emblem Heroes. This is gonna be the review of Legendary Ike and FEHORM, who have got some new skills and specials, and in general this is gonna be a Legendary Hero remix review. So let me know if you would like to see more of this in future. I'm not really too sure how many people are interested, so if you do end up enjoying, I would really appreciate if you could leave a like and subscribe if you're new, as if many people like it, then I'll definitely continue making these, just as I do with Legendary and Mythic banners. So that's it. Hope you all enjoy and let us begin. Legendary Hero Remix is a new concept of banners which is going to be having the older legendary units and also some newer units present along with them, and you can get Spark on this banner. You can guaranteed get a 5-star unit after 40 summons, so this makes it really amazing if you want to get some merges on these units, or even if you want to get that unit which I've been waiting for a long time, or you just want to use them for a fodder. And this is what it looks like. So just after 40 summons you could get a legendary unit guaranteed, which is absolutely amazing. And in this banner, they have basically started this process of giving these older legendary units some skill refines and giving them newer skills. So for learning these new skills, all you have to do is go into learn skills and use your SP to learn them, and retroactively this is going to be applied to all of the copies of these units which are present in your barracks. So if you had a lot of legendary Ikes, all of them will now be having access to joint drive resistance, which is amazing. So the first unit we have over here is Legendary Ike. Radiant Aether was a 4-turn Aether basically, but now Radiant Aether 2 gives him a pre-charge of -2 special cooldown, and this is really amazing, and it means that on his first combat on a map, he's going to be able to retaliate back with Radiant Aether right off the bat if he's running the Warding Breath, and most of the budget Ikes are going to be running that. If not, then you're definitely going to be using him with Brave Lucina, and this can basically allow you to have pretty good healing on that first combat. And he also gets access to Joint Drive Resistance on his slot C, so along with Warding Breath and Joint Drive Res, he can basically get +8 resistance, which is much needed for a distant counter unit like him. This is definitely a step in the right direction because many of these older legendary units were in a desperate need of any kind of help. Now do not expect these older legendary units to become extremely good just by these small improvements. It is definitely going to be a pretty good thing in their performance, don't get me wrong. But still, something like a weapon refine would help them a lot, and I hope that they can get that in future as well. So this process of improving older legendary units had started, so I hope that can also eventually happen. The problem with a lot of these legendary units which are old is that they don't score well in arena. They do not have the same scoring as the modern pair up legendary heroes, and because of being a legendary hero, they do have that inherent value in arena scoring type of game modes, so they are really left behind, and that really sucks. So if they had given them some kind of extra BST, I think that would have helped quite a lot as well, but obviously that's probably not going to be happening. So I think you should try to go for these units if you're trying to plus and merge them and they have been your projects. And if you just want to get a legendary unit to +10, then Legendary Hero Remix banners are really good. But if you're gonna be going after these units specifically for the purpose of arena scoring, then in my opinion it's not the best option, because as time goes on the score creep is going to be going higher and higher in arena. We just got last year 190 BST duo units. These insane duo and legendary units have been really annoying to face for even the +10 merge old legendary units, just in terms of combat, and obviously in terms of scoring they are outclassed. It's really important to make investment with your orbs, especially if you care about arena, in a way that it can stay long term and can help you with more score creep. So investing into newer legendary units is definitely going to be the way to go. And obviously these legendary units don't have as much value, so that's why they are available for Spark. But just generally speaking, in terms of arena, BST is everything, so you gotta invest into the higher BST units in general if you want to stay in tier 21. If you don't really care about that or arena scoring in general, then it doesn't really matter too much, who you invest into, as long as you like them and they're one of your favorite units or your merge project. So in that sense, these banners can definitely help you. Again, I have to reiterate that if you're going for +10 merge on FEHORM only for arena scoring, you will still have trouble staying in tier 21 because it's absolutely insane. You would have to fish a lot with your dueling crest, especially if you're not a whale and if you're just a free tipple player and you use like easily available bonus units. If you're a whale, then yeah, this could maybe help you if you are going to be trying to complete your FEHORM, but for most people, it is still going to be really hard to stay in tier 21 even with a +10 merge FEHORM, as it is for many of the the other plus 10 merge older legendary units. So it can definitely be pretty hard and annoying if you don't have highly merged bonus units in every single season, because these units themselves, these legendary units, older ones, don't really score as high as the newer pair-up modern legendary units that we're getting. On the other hand, if you're primarily trying to stay in tier 20.5, then this can definitely help you future-proof your 20.5 situation, because these legendary units can at least help you with that, if not stay in tier 21. So if you don't too much care about tier 21, but you still have decently merged legendary units and you would like to complete them and still stay in tier 20.5 arena to get a crown every other week, then these could be an option. But as time goes on, soon enough, score creep is gonna catch up to them, I'm afraid. When it comes to Legendary Ike, his core issues are still there. He's still largely outclassed by Fallen Ike. The performance difference between an unmerged or even low merged Fallen Ike compared to a fully invested Legendary Ike is just absolutely mind-blowing. Fallen Ike with Chaos Dragnel is an insanely strong unit and definitely one of the strongest sword units in the entire game. And he's just a direct upgrade from Legendary Ike. So it's really hard for Legendary Ike, and the Radiant Aether buff is really not enough to help him in that regard, especially because he's also a sword infantry unit who faces competition from many other units. But still, the niche that he has compared to Fallen Ike is that he could be used in arena for scoring, but that can also be a downfall, which means that you cannot always use him in arena or AR because he cannot be blessed. So this definitely improves his value as a fodder. He does have Joint Drive Res and also Warding Breath, but still, in my opinion, in 2021, foddering off him for a breath skill is not really going to be worth it, because we have better slotty options, and we also have ways like Brave Lucina and newer Veluria of getting the special acceleration. So in my opinion, his fodder, even though it has gotten improved, it's still not really as good as many of the other units. You know, Joint Drive Res is good, but it's not really as universal as something like Joint Drive Attack, which is literally present on this banner in male Kris. So it's still, you know, better than before, but I don't really see many people specifically going for him for his fodder. As for his builds, I think that you could just use Warding Breath, and Special Spiral has got a lot of value now with Radiant Aether, which is a popular build called as Thanos Ike build. So Thanos Ike build is now much stronger because Radiant Aether gives you that -2 special cooldown, so it's easier to charge up your Special Spiral right off the bat. And this kind of build is really good because you're able to retaliate back with Radiant Aether, and it's really amazing for self-sufficiency in general. You also have some other options in tier 3 stance skills like Mirror Stance or even Swift Stance, and Attack Res Unity, just like it is really good on Fallen Ike, it is going to be really good on Legendary Ike as well. On higher investments, it is worth mentioning that he can go plus speed IV and invest into his speed and still get decently fast, because now we have a lot of speed oriented options in the passive skills and even in the Sacred Seal. So that is something worth doing if you really want to max invest into him. But if you have low merges, then it's just better to go with plus attack IV and go with something that can help him tank things. FEHRM also got some new toys in Ice Mirror 2 and Attack Defense Unity. Ice Mirror 2 actually works completely different compared to Ice Mirror 1. The reason being is that it has definitely been improved. It is definitely a much needed upgrade, which gives her consistent damage output. So if she's attacked by a ranged unit, it reduces the damage of foe's attack by 40%. And after triggering this special, her damage from the next attack is going to be getting boosted by 40% of her resistance, which is really good because she can basically get more consistent damage output. Before this, you had to rely on taking her more damage if you want to do more damage with Ice Mirror, but now it scales off on her resistance, so you can basically stack up her resistance, and that would be really nice. So this gives her a better damage output, and this is pretty much like a slightly worse Iceberg against ranged units, so that is pretty good, and she can mainly be used as a range counter. I really wish that she came with Attack Res Unity instead, because that would have worked with her Ice Mirror, but any kind of Unity skill is really good. So Attack Defense Unity is a direct upgrade from Attack Defense Bond 3, which she had, and this allows her to have a bit lenient positioning, and she can be within 2 spaces of an ally to get +5 attack and defense. And if she receives any kind of debuffs on those 2 stats, then she can basically strengthen her attack and also be more bulky. And that's why I wish that this was Attack Res Unity. That would have been so awesome. So Ice Mirror 2 definitely helps FEHRM quite a bit, but still, I'm kind of disappointed that this doesn't work for melee range units, like how it does for negating Fang of Legendary Corrin. That would have been really amazing for FEHRM. But still being a better range tech is definitely pretty nice and getting more consistent damage output. So FEHRM I feel like has improved a bit more than Legendary Ike because Ice Mirror 2 is definitely a bit better than what Radiant Aether 2 gave to Ike. And this can pretty much allow her to be a pretty nice range check. And modes like Aether Raids and many of the other in-game content where you're going to be facing a lot of range units, FEHRM can be a pretty decent unit right there for tanking some units, but she definitely suffers in her melee matchups. She doesn't really get any kind of extra damage output or any kind of damage reduction with Ice Mirror 2, and she's just left helpless. And there are a lot of melee range units which are going to be a problem for FEHRM because of that. Attack Defense Unity is definitely a really good upgrade, but if you want to stack up a resistance, then Swift Stance 3 or Attack Res Unity is an option. And again, just like with Legendary Ike, going with the Speed FEHRM is also an option. Many people who do invest into FEHRM for max investment at Plus and Merge often opt for Plus Speed Ivy because she can actually get pretty fast, like I said, with a lot of the speed boosting options that now we have for many of the skills and Sacred Seal. So that is always going to be an option. And you could also go with Shield Pulse, which is a decent skill on budget, but Quick Riposte and Special Spiral also work. And Null Counter Disrupt can also work, especially in Aether Raids, because she is a rotating bonus unit in Aether Raids, and that can really be helpful for facing some really annoying teams. So that is going to be an option. And the only thing that she's lacking on her base kit is consistent healing, so you could go with Mystic Boost if you do have Quick Riposte in slot B, or if she's fast enough. The next unit we have in the red pool along with Legendary Ike is Male Kris. So Male Kris is one of the better sword units present in the game because his weapon is really good. Blade of Shadow gives you -1 special cooldown and it's really easy to activate. It's secondary condition to give -5 attack, defense and speed debuff to the foe during the combat, and also completely neutralize any debuff present on Male Kris. So debuff negation is always going to be a very strong tool in Fire Emblem Heroes, where we have so many long range and global debuffs in shrine structures, shield skills and ruse skills, and so many other types of debuffs that are just present. So avoiding any of those and neutralizing them is going to be a big help for any kind of unit. So that makes Male Kris have some pretty good value. And his weapon in general is also pretty good. The -1 special cooldown also helps quite a bit. So he's overall a pretty solid unit and does have some really good fodder value in Spurn 3 and Joint Drive Attack, which you could inherit at the same time. And he himself is a really versatile unit. He could function both in player phase and as well in enemy phase, and if you want, at higher investments he can easily function in mixed phase as well really well. So overall good unit and really good fodder for the red color. Next up we have got Awakening Anna or Apotheosis Anna for the blue pool along with FEHRM. So overall, she's going to be facing competition from someone like Female Dimitri or Legendary Dimitri, which are just better lance units, infantry lance units who fulfill the same category of being a fast infantry lance unit. Apotheosis Spear can give her really good movement utility and does give her extra attack and speed, but it doesn't really give her anything else in terms of combat. It doesn't really give her any kind of bulk, so she could run a damage reduction skill, but she cannot really function as well as someone like Female Kris or Legendary Dimitri, especially when it comes to being mixed phase or even being as an enemy phase tank. Though it is worth noting that she does have better resistance than both of them, but still both of those units are gonna be better with their weapons, and especially Dimitri with that atrocity skill. And in future we are probably gonna be getting even more blue infantry units with like much stacked weapons. So Apotheosis Anna is always going to be facing that competition by going with a more movement based weapon in Apotheosis Spear. As for fodder, she is really fantastic, providing a ruse skill or the rally plus skill along with joint drive speed, which is absolutely amazing. And joint drive speed is such a universal skill. I love the fact that we have got both joint drive attack and joint drive speed present on this banner as a spark. And those skills are just absolutely amazing and super flexible and super universal, and any kind of unit appreciates them. So it's really amazing for fodder. And then we move on to the colorless pool. We have got Bernadetta. She's definitely one of the better bow cavaliers because of Persecution Bow. It's extremely easy to trigger. So Persecution Bow can pretty much give her a conditional desperation if she meets that condition, and can also give her extra offenses. So this pretty much allows her to free up her slot B skill to run a lull speed defense, which is really amazing. And overall her offensive stat spread is also not bad, and she can definitely be a pretty good bow cavalier. As for fodder, she has got some really amazing value in attack speed push 4 and lull speed defense, which you could inherit at the same time. And then we have got Female Grima in the colorless pool as well. Female Grima desperately needs some help. I hope they can give the Halloween Grima's dragon skill to her in dragon skin. So we still do not know what kind of skill upgrades these units will get, but I guess it's better to get hold of them in case they get a better skill in future. I really wish they told us when these units are going to be getting the skills or what skills they are going to be getting, because right now we don't really know what is going to be happening. So I hope that she can also get something better in her base kit, maybe like Dragon's Eye or something like that over Cancel Affinity, which is just like, come on, that's not a good skill. But in general, female Grima just suffers a lot in the modern times in FEH. She doesn't have access to a lot of the skills because she is a dragon and also is a flyer. So it really hurts. At least she has got access to the rain skills in Slot C, so that is something worth noting. She also has access to Dragon's Ire, which is pretty good. But still, dragon units and flying units in general don't have many skill options that they could use, and Dragon Skin would definitely like some kind of upgrade that can help her in the modern times. Right now, she is really underwhelming, and she is a pretty unique unit being a flying colorless dragon, so I hope she can get something that can make her really good in future. Then we have got Legendary Hector. So out of all of the other older legendary units, he has definitely aged better when it comes to the scoring because he was an armor unit. So he could be a really good option to plus and merge if you want to do it for arena scoring, because he will definitely score much better than a lot of the older legendary units because he did have a better BST at that time because of being an armor unit. So that is definitely something that Legendary Hector has got. And Osteus Pulse is also pretty useful, and Osteus Pulse is probably going to be getting an upgrade of some kind, so I hope we could give him the special cooldown reduction as well. But when it comes to Nax armor unit, he is outclassed. There is Brave Edelgard, we also have Valentine Gustav, we have Mamori, we have got Legendary Edelgard as well. All of these min-max armor units who just have it better when it comes to their bulk and just have much better weapons. So it's really hard for Legendary Hector as an Axe armor unit to compete with someone like Brave Edelgard, who's such an insane unit and who's also a free option out of Choose Your Legends 4, so it does get pretty tough for him. As for fodder, he does have Distant Counter and Vengeful Fighter, which you could fodder off at the same time. Distant Counter is actually one of the most available premium skills in the entire game. It's present on so many units. So it's still not the hardest skill to get hold of, even though it's a 5-star locked skill. Same goes for Vengeful Fighter, it is available in Divine Codes. So not the best fodder options, but also not the worst. He does have value, but there are other units who provide you with more rare fodder on this banner itself. And then we have got Legendary Lyn at last. So Legendary Lyn is like the worst legendary unit for a long time. It was really hard even when she came out, and unfortunately she will need a lot of help. Like, I hope they make Laws of Sake extremely busted and give her something good in her base kit. But even then, when it comes to arena scoring, ultimately she has to run Green Dual Infantry and replace Laws of Sake, which is really heartbreaking because that's her preferred skill. So that could be really annoying. Legendary Lyn in general is pretty confused with her base kit, trying to go for player phase as well as enemy phase, but she's just much better off sticking to either of them, and that is, you know, in player phase most of the time, using the budget skills like Fury and stuff like that. She really doesn't have any kind of fodder available at this point, but I hope this can change and she can have better fodder value as she gets the update in the upcoming months. Again, I wish they told us that, but it is going to be happening in upcoming months, so we'll just have to wait. So that is going to be my review of the Legendary Hero Remix banner. Please be sure to share this video with your friends who are trying to summon on this banner or trying to spark on this banner. And I want to thank all of my YouTube members for all of their support. And if you enjoyed this video, then please be sure to leave a like and a comment, helps me tremendously. And be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell, because YouTube sub boxes are about as functional as Ice Mirror 2 against melee range units. So that's it, I'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day.